everyone, we are here to kickstart a three-part series for sugar, fat, and alcohol. I know you guys are very excited about this. You've been waiting for it, so here it is. Sugar, fat, and alcohol is a relatively new seminar that we put on at Skyterra. So if you haven't heard it before, now's your chance. If you have heard it before, this is going to be a nice little refresher. The first thing we're really going to address is sugar. When we think about sugar here at Skyterra, we are not concerned with the sugar that you get from fruit, the sugar that you get from starchy vegetables. No one really got here from eating too many sweet potatoes. That's not the problem, it's part of the solution. What we are more concerned with is really the added sugar that we find in a lot of processed foods, prepackaged foods, baked goods, adding sugars to beverages, condiments, those kinds of things. It can sneakily add up in your day, especially if you're not really paying attention. For every 4 grams of added sugar, it's equivalent to 1 teaspoon of sugar that you actually end up consuming. Part of it's going to take looking at the label to kind of really understand how much of it you are consuming. By 2022, all packaged goods and all nutrition labels actually have to say how much added sugar is in each serving, which is a little bit different than what you'll come across today. Today, it could be some companies are already getting ahead of that and giving you the added sugar grams, and some companies are still working through that development process. The reason why I share this is because chronic exposure to added sugar, especially day after day after day, can lead into some unfortunate health risks. There is definitely a correlation with certain disease states and over-consuming added sugar. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes. They're actually referring Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes, a little scary. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, cancer, the list kind of goes on. The one component that I'd say we get a lot of feedback on is feeling like there's some degree of an addiction towards sugar. Here we kind of use the language of attachment and being attached to sugar and those types of foods versus necessarily being truly addicted. Yet it's understandable why some folks may feel like there is that addictive nature to those kinds of foods. There's no denying that it's a very hyper palatable substance that is coming in. If we're talking about strategies on really how to better manage this, one, following some sort of a meal plan where whole foods are integrated, where you're actually not avoiding going too long without eating. Nothing good happens if you wait 8 hours without consuming food. Your body is only going to want those refined carbohydrates and the sugar to come in because it's your quickest form of really of energy. So can you ask yourself, when am I eating? How much am I eating? Do you have some sort of plan so that it can prevent that monkey chatter that's going on in your brain, especially later on at night? Another strategy is called food pairing. Could you take something hyper palatable and actually pair it with something nutrient dense? I'm going to use the example of, and I'm not saying necessarily going out and buying this, but let's take Nutella, for example. The #1 ingredient of Nutella is sugar. And if you paired that with nothing, it's very hard to stop if you open that jar of Nutella at the 2 tablespoons. However, if you were to pair that Nutella with a banana, you may be able to better manage it. It's not going to hit your system in the same kind of way of just opening up the jar where there's literally no stop button to letting you get to the very end of that container. So we've got have a meal plan, food pairing. I'd say the last strategy is trying to find something to do for 20 to 25 minutes. The average craving, especially if it's more binge related, can be anywhere between 20 and 25, even up to 30 minutes in length. So what we're going to encourage you to do is actually do something different. Within that time frame, can you set a timer? And for 20 to 25 minutes, can you go on a walk? Can you cope differently? Sometimes we gravitate towards those foods because of something that's going on internally, and we're not coping appropriately. We're actually using food to cope. So can you actually tap into some grounding skills, some coping skills, so that it actually gets your mind completely off of the food and onto something that's actually a little bit wiser for your soul, your body, your mind, everything. So this is the first part of the series, and we look forward to sharing more with you.